Excuse me, is anybody sitting here? Sorry, this seat's taken. Sorry.
Welcome to This Seat's Taken, where I'm your host, Rob Miranda. Got the Christmas edition of the podcast going for the second time now. What better way to get into the holiday spirit than to sit around watching a Christmas movie with everyone you love? Today I have a special guest on. She has been on since last year, I believe. Yessie Flores. Thank you for coming on, Yessie.
Thanks for having me, Robert.
I'm excited to have you on. This is a special edition. We're not going to be talking about any theatrical new movies. Instead, we're going to watch a new Amazon Prime movie that came out recently. It's starring George Lopez, which it should have a lot of eyes on it for that fact alone. But we'll get into it, and then we're going to be talking about the classic movie, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Is Christmas a big part of your household? Do you love Christmas?
I do like Christmas. I enjoy Christmas. My family loves Christmas. We usually celebrate it on the morning of the 25th with my actual family. Earlier in the morning, it's my son and me. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How old's your son now?
He's 10.
Prime time for Christmas, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Have you been getting a lot of stuff?
Yeah, I've been buying him a few things. His toys, like what he prefers, are a little different, so it's a little bit more difficult shopping for him. He doesn't like what most 10-year-olds like, so.
What kind of stuff is he into?
Like sensory stuff, like sensory toys.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I thought you meant it has to be censored. I was like, what are you talking
Oh
about?
no, he's on the spectrum, so he likes
Okay.
different types of toys. So
Nice.
it's been difficult trying to find exact stuff for him that I haven't gotten him previous years, but I think I got it. I got it.
Are you one of those families you have to stay in pajamas all day and just relax the whole time?
My mom likes to do the matching PJs and everything, go all out.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I'm like, whatever you say, Mom, but in my house with my kid, if he wants to be in his regular clothes, he wants to be in PJs, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's Christmas. You can do anything.
Yeah.
Do you do the Elf on the Shelf and all that?
I don't do Elf on the Shelf. I didn't do it this year.
Do you do
least.
the new trend Snoop on the Stoop?
No, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's Snoop Dogg. It's a big trend going on this year where it's Snoop Dogg, Snoop on the Stoop, where it's pretty much exactly the same, but it was Snoop Dogg.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But speaking of pajamas, for those of you just listening, we are doing this podcast in our pajamas. So if you want to check over the YouTube channel to see out Yessie's cool Jack Skellington costume, I went to Myers and Target to go find a Christmas shirt at least. This is, what's today's date? The 18th. I went this week. There's nothing Christmas there.
Yeah.
I was so mad. Why pull everything? I get it. You push things out earlier, but I wanted the Christmas shirt, so I was mad.
Robert, you worked at Old Navy. You should know this.
I know.
It sells out so fast.
I know. But in the tradition of not only just wearing pajamas, we're also drinking on the podcast too. I went out and I found this cool, because if you don't know me, I like to make different kind of drinks, special drinks for the holidays. Last year, my big one was the Grinch. And this one for you, Yessie, I might still doing that. I might start doing that, making special drinks for guests. I picked the Tipsy Gingerbread Man. What this consists of, it's very simple. The original recipe calls for milk, eggnog ice cream specifically, actually, and spiced liquor, which I picked Bacardi for this one, and just gingerbread. And you just put it on the blender. I did alter this one for us because you would not believe how hard eggnog ice cream is hard to find. So I just reversed it. I have vanilla ice cream, eggnog in there. And instead of gingerbread, I mixed it with vanilla wafers.
I love vanilla wafers.
Yeah, I feel like everyone does. That's why I did it a little bit different.
This is real tasty.
I want you to rate it. How good is it?
I'm not a big eggnog person, but I can barely taste the eggnog, so I want to say it's a good 8 out of 10.
Can you taste the liquor in it? Bacardi?
Yes, I can.
It's not so strong that you don't like it, but it is not strong enough where it could be dangerous.
He's a good bartender, you guys.
Christmas is a big time for me. I love watching Christmas movies. There's always classics. I think last year was the first Christmas episode we did Elf, Home Alone, and National Lampoon. Have you seen any of those? National Lampoon?
Not that one.
That's a good clip.
That's on my list. I've heard good things about it. But...
Are you a big fan of going to the movies on Christmas, like some families do?
No, I haven't gone to the movies on Christmas.
You'd be surprised how busy it is.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I've seen people go in there with theaters, just not just Christmas, but any time of the year, like go in there with like, blankets and stuff like that. I was like, I can't do that, dude. I'm scared I'm gonna fall asleep.
So they go on Christmas Day?
Mm-hmm. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day.
I didn't think that they would be open on Christmas.
No, there's movies coming out on Christmas Day too.
Wow.
Like The Color Purple, the new animation movie Migration, which is something I like. It's made by Illuminati.
Okay.
And there's also some other true story, like about some college team that's coming out on Christmas Day too.
Nice.
I might be there because, like I just told you, we're doing Christmas a little bit later this year, just because it's how it rolls with people trying to get together. So I might be there. I don't think I have big plans that day. Would you try it? Would you go on Christmas Day?
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I told you before you came here that I wanted to play a little bit of game with you just to see how well you know Christmas movies. This really doesn't have anything to do with Christmas movie itself. It's just like I want to see if you can guess the top 10 grossing Christmas movies to see which ones have the highest payday.
Okay, I wrote my list.
Okay, let me pull up my list to see how much accurate you're right.
Wait, which one is it? Okay.
And as you tell me, if you get one right, I'll let you know if it's right.
Okay. Starting from 1, I have How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
The Jim Carrey one?
Yes.
That is number 4.
Oof. Second one, I have Home Alone 1.
That is number 2.
Oh, okay. Third, I have A Christmas Story.
No, it's not on the list, actually. I think that might be like 11 or 12 or something like that.
I'm very surprised. 4, I have Santa Claus 1.
Which, Tim Allen?
Yes.
That is number 10.
Oh, wow. Okay. 5, I have that Alvin and the Chipmunks Christmas movie.
No.
That one's a good one.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
I like that one. Okay, 6, I have Polar Express.
That is on the list at number 6.
Oh, wow. I got 2 right so far.
I think you got 3.
Oh, okay. 7, I have Elf.
That is number 8.
Okay. 8, I have National Lampoon.
That is not on it. You just said you didn't overwatch it.
I didn't. I just thought it would be.
It's not on there, no.
Okay, then I have 9, Nightmare Before Christmas.
That is not on there. Some people don't even consider that a Christmas movie.
Some people do.
Some people do.
Yep. Look at my PJ. It's Christmas. 10, I have For Christmas with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon.
No, but I wish I was on this list.
I know. I love that one.
There is a good amount of movies that I don't think you're going to guess on this list. You get like half of them right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to go down the list and backwards. Number 10, you have the Santa Claus starring Tim Allen. Number 9, you have The Holiday, which is wild. It's up there.
Yeah.
Number 8, you have Elf. Number 7, you have Love Actually. Number 6, you have The Polar Express. Number 5, you have Jim Carrey's A Christmas Carol. Number 4, you have How the Grinch Stole Christmas starring Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, you have Home Alone 2. And number 2, you have Home Alone. And the number 1 Christmas movie, highest grossing Christmas movie of all time, is The Grinch, the animated one that just came out not too long ago. I was shocked by that answer.
I thought the Jim Carrey one would beat that.
You would think, and I would hope. When we picked this movie to watch this, it was so nostalgic, and I remember like reading so much about it, like the behind the scenes stuff. So I'm gonna share some of that information later. But then we're gonna go talk about George Lopez's new attempt at a Christmas movie. It's called How the Gringo Stole Christmas. And man, do we have a lot of opinions about this movie. This movie just came out this December on Amazon Prime. It did not come free with the membership. You did have to rent it, which was kind of lame.
I actually watched it free with stars. I had to sign up for a week.
Oh, my goodness. Of course he did. I purposely did not want to watch this by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I had to go watch it with a couple of friends, at least to make it a little bit funnier. Because you sent me the trailer of it, and you're like, this movie looked like it's going to suck, honestly. And it didn't. I was more worried that it was just going to be like one long episode of the George Lopez show in the early 2000s. It would have been lucky if it was considered that.
Yeah.
This is gonna go on record as my lowest rating movie on this podcast.
Yeah.
It was so rough. And I thought we would both like it a lot because we're both Mexican and we know how the Christmas goes. And as Mexicans, we know how it is when a girl brings home a white boy for the first time, especially during the holiday season. That's pretty ballsy, I think. So we're going to go ahead and review this movie. Let me go ahead and pull up who's in it. This is directed by Angel Garcia, written by... I'm so bad with names. If you can read that writer name.
Ezequiel Martinez Jr.
I would never have got that. Thank you.
I love that name.
Really?
Yes.
This movie is about Benny's daughter is on her way home for the holidays. However, she surprises him by arriving with her brand new boyfriend, an uninvited gringo. You seen the movie Guess Who with Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher?
Yes.
It stole a lot of it from there. Which, you know, if you can argue the Jonah Hill movie that came out earlier this year was the same thing. You People, I think it was called. Even Guess Who was a remake from Guess Who from before the day. So it's nothing really original on here. But this movie was just filled with a bunch of bad cliches and stereotypes, which I was
very offended.
I was surprised. Like George Lopez, I'm surprised everyone signed off on this. Like you just seen the director and the writer are Mexicans too. Like what Mexican family is this?
Mm-hmm.
This movie takes place in L.A. The first mistake. I get it. There's Christmas in L.A. and it was very cool. But like if you're gonna make a Christmas movie, like I think you need snow to make it a Christmas movie. You know. Because the whole time I was like, this is probably like September, you know?
I believe it was in East LA where they're very, the population's really high with Mexicans.
Yes.
I think that's what they were trying to go for, but I get what you're saying. Snow would have been nice.
So I'm just going to list off the premise of this movie so far. Like this couple who you introduced with, like the guy seems like a very successful gamer. Like not gamer, but he creates video games. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what she does exactly, but it really wasn't important to the story. He was going to surprise her with a trip, like a vacation trip over the holidays. And her father, George Lopez, was like, hey, like, you're coming home for the holidays, right? Like, I got everything ready for you, blah, blah, blah. So she goes home with the boyfriend. And this is the first time I ever find out, not only that she has a boyfriend, but that the boyfriend is white. And that's not flying over with George Lopez. Now, who else is in this household? You have the mother, the grandmother. I don't know who the other woman is.
The Tia, the aunt. That was the mom's sister. Yep.
Okay, because I thought it was her sister. Like, they never really explained that too well.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever heard her call her Tia, too, the whole time.
Yeah.
And that was in the household. For a movie like this, I felt like you were missing a lot of people that should have been in this movie. And, of course, you know, the dad's not going to like it. And there's going to be a big confrontation, but they end up making it at the end. Like, this whole movie. This movie was just the bones of what a good movie could have been. I want to see if you agree with everything I'm going to say. There should have been more people. There should have been a little kid in this movie. There should have been another male, like either George's brother or something like that. Because this movie just makes him look like an asshole the whole time. Like, everyone's ganging it up on him. You need somebody else on his side as well, too.
Well, the Cholos were kind of on
the Cholos fell in love with the guy as soon as they saw him cut a bush.
They did.
I want to talk about them in a second. But, like, in the household, like, you could have had a little kid in there to, like, well, why is it so bad he's white? And then you could have had the George Lopez explain his feelings to, like, why is it so white? And then, the Tia could have been, that could have been the Tia's kid, like her kid. But, you know, she's a wild aunt. You know, we all,
she was like, a wild one.
Go on Facebook Live every 2 minutes, you know? Who couldn't get the holidays? You know,
they couldn't keep up with the guys she was with either.
they could have had that in their movie. That would have made it a lot better. Because we all know Latinas that have children, but they still go out every other Friday, you know? Mm-hmm. That definitely could have been a big part of the movie. I wish they had like a drunken uncle, like the George Lopez. That would have been pretty funny in this movie. The grandmother was kind of wasted. Like, they could have more funny opportunities with her. She could have been on George Lopez, if anybody, too. And the part that pisses me off, it's called the Gringo Stole Christmas. The white guy stole Christmas. I could see that maybe if the white guy was like unwilling or just maybe awkward with the traditions. He was very attemptful to be a part of their family. He went out his way to learn Spanish. He helped, like, offered to help make food all the fucking time. He was a very sweet guy in this movie.
He was.
Yeah, some of his dialogue was very cringe in this movie, but he didn't really steal anything. Like, you're the one, and the fact that he's saying like, "Oh, you brought a white boy home," he didn't seem to be mad about the fact that he was white. It seemed to be mad that she brought home a boy at all.
Yep.
You know. And then there's like so many. I wish they would have brought his family in this movie too, because we could see like maybe they could have the altercation.
The Gringo?
Yeah.
Oh, his name was, I believe, Leif.
Leif, but they kept pronouncing Leif.
Yeah, Leif.
Leif. I think I was watching with my two friends, and like we had to like pause and look it up. Like, what the fuck is his name? You know.
I went to school with a couple Leifs, I believe.
I think it would have been funny if his name was like Michael. But he kept referring to himself as Miguel or something, you know?
Miguel.
Yeah, because he kept calling like George like Senor and then Senorita to the mother and stuff like that.
I thought that was kind of cute.
Like it just brings his personality. He's a very nice, sweet guy. It's just it could have been. There's so much stuff that could have been missed.
I agree.
How do you feel about the Cholos? Though I'm gonna talk about them next.
I really like the Cholos.
Because they're TikTok stars, right?
Yeah, one was Francisco, and he does TikToks with his wife, and I didn't realize that was them until until later on. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's Francisco.
That was pretty cool to have him in there.
Yeah.
But I hated the roles in this movie. There was 3 wannabe cholos, which they could have been funny. They could have definitely been funny in this movie. But all they did was sit outside this residential house for no reason at all. Like, I thought maybe they lived in the house behind. Yeah,
and stuff.
that was pretty funny, though.
Yeah.
I thought they lived in the house they're standing in front of. Like, no, you could have had them in front of, like, a liquor store or anything. But now it looks like you're fucking just, like, peeping Toms almost, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
They did have a white boy who was trying to be a cholo. That was pretty funny.
He was saying something about being Spaniard or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he was so light-skinned.
They could have made a joke like, "Oh, call me Miklos"
I
or
can
something,
relate.
you
Yeah.
know? Which is, you know, I'm not dissing on that because, like, you know, there are plenty of light skinned like you just said, where they don't look Mexican, but they are Mexican. But they could have made fun of that a little bit more.
Can I just point something out about the movie? I'm not a big fan of how George Lopez. I know, I get it. You're Mexican. Your audience is Mexican. But why did you have to use the word wetback so much in that movie? Like, why?
Yeah,
why?
Because I think that's how he describes some of her ex-boyfriends and
he
stuff
called
like that.
one Elmo, and she's like, "Who's Elmo?" He said, "El Mojado." Ha ha ha! I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
They had like a Chuck E. Cheese. It was called like
Clucky Cheese.
Clucky Cheese. And it had like a man in a rat suit running around.
That was kind of funny.
Yeah. You watched those with your parents, Anna?
I was going to, but I ended up just going home and I watched it by myself. My dad was
really?
working and he was tired.
Oh, he didn't miss out.
Yeah, they ended up watching it. They watched it yesterday, I believe. I gave them my Prime info and they watched it. My mom wasn't crazy about it. My mom disliked it. She disliked it.
I don't think I would want to meet the person that really loved this movie. I was like, who is this movie for? You know?
My mom's opinion of it was that she does not like how that represented Mexicans. And I can understand that.
You thought this movie would have been written by a white man's perspective.
I agree.
It was very disappointing. And I was like, a Christmas movie, like, you didn't even, it had nothing to do with Christmas either, you know? Like, they didn't really, they could have had the movies like tradition, like, oh, like him and the George and the son, the guy, the boyfriend, go pick out a Christmas tree together or something like that. And like, they argue about what kind of Christmas tree, and, you know, stuff like that. The fact that, like, they could have had, like, dilemmas like snow, like, someone gets stuck in the snow, like George Lopez say gets stuck in the snow and can't really get out, but, like, the white boy can help him get out. You know, they have that bonding moment. You didn't really have that bonding moment in this movie.
Or really, like, show that you trying to give him a chance or anything like that.
Or even the daughter talking to him, like, hey, give him a chance, you know? And my friend brought up the good point, like, on the way, even on the drive to the house for the first time, you could have had the girlfriend, his daughter, like, hey, like, just to give you a heads up, like, you know, avoid saying this or something like that. You're giving her, like, the lowdown in the Mexican household. And they could have added something more, make it more Mexican. Like, they could have the mom and grandmother and the neighborhood, like, making tamales in the kitchen or something.
Yeah.
Something that stuff we actually do, you know? Like,
that's what I was thinking, the tamales, like...
And then with a drunk uncle, they could have him going to the grocery store and buying gifts, like, the last second, you know?
Yeah.
Just all kind of crazy stuff like that could have been more funny in this movie. I mean, we don't really go to church too much, but you could have a church scene in this movie that could have been funny.
Yeah, most definitely.
They just had so many... It had the bones there, but, like, they could have added so much more to the premise. And the fact that you have a big name like George Lopez, the daughter was a little bit famous, too. Someone recognized her from a
Emily
TV show.
Tosta. Yep, she's from Mayans.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I believe she plays Letty. She was one of the Mayans' daughters.
Okay.
Which is pretty good.
Well, we think big names like that, too. Like, and especially Mexican names, you think they would say, like, especially George, like, hey, like, oh, this isn't really going to work, but, like... George Lopez has been down the whole...
Well, yeah, they're saying that he's starting to get canceled in the Mexican community. So I can see why.
Yeah, he's being... I think I talked about this a couple episodes ago. He's been canceled because he, like, came out saying, like, he doesn't want to help a Mexican comedian girl because, like, no one helped me, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then he privately apologized to that specific comedian. But I was like... You only apologizing because he got caught, you know?
That part, yeah. You're getting so much backlash from it.
So that's probably why he did a role like this. Like, he did Blue Beetle a couple of months ago, but, like...
I did watch that. I actually watched that, I want to say, last week or two for the first time. Yeah.
I think I said to somebody, like, you know it's a bad movie when George Lopez is the best part of the movie.
And it's just so unfortunate because I grew up, I loved watching George Lopez show, you know? And it's just like...
But you watch him in the early 2000s, his shows and his specials then, like, that's his peak, and he never got any better than that. He's still making jokes about his childhood. It's like, dude, you're like 50 or 60 years old now. Like, do jokes about old man stuff. You know, do something. I don't care about
Family
your
man stuff.
I don't
you know?
care about your
Yeah.
grandma or your mother like forgetting you in the yard or forgetting to pick you up. Or, you know, this is we heard these jokes a million times from you, guy.
Yeah.
And this stuff, like, I was expecting like humor for the Joel Lopez show. Like, no, that would have been a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even look too well in this movie. Like, I hated his blowout hair. Like, he just blow dried it and hairsprayed it. Looked like you could at least groom yourself. And speaking of groom and clean Mexicans, there was a guy in this movie, Javier.
Oh, Javier.
They could have done so much more funny stuff with him. He was portrayed in the movie like if he was gonna be a problem, like between the boyfriend, because he was like an old friend from the girlfriend from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
They could have made him an old boyfriend. I know I'm gonna tell a spoiler in a second, but they could have made him a boyfriend and like have some tension there. But instead, they do have him trying to get in his Leaf's face. But like, I was never intimidated. To me, it looked like he was like fucking like whispering something in his ear. Like, what the hell, dude? Like, which we found out later, he probably was. So there's a little bit of tension there that lasted all of maybe like 2 seconds. That we never really see him too much. He came in the very beginning of the movie and then he just dipped, and we're all like, what the hell happened to that guy? Like, what was his role?
And then the next scenes, he just pops up out of nowhere.
And you find out at the end of the movie that he's actually gay. And I was like, you could have still had him play a love interest. Like that was like she was a cover up for him in high school or something, you know. And then he came out she was gay, so that wasn't a possibility. It was kind of a shock because he never acted or seemed gay to us. This isn't
I didn't think
stereotypical.
so. Yeah, I didn't think he was. When she said that, I was like, what?
They could have had like subtle hints that could have been more funny. Like they could have had like where maybe like he was checking out Leaf or something like that, you know, or even one of the other cholos or something like that. They could have done so much more funny stuff with this movie, and they just missed all the opportunities, dude. I'm glad we didn't spend money to go to the movie theaters to watch this.
Yes, I agree.
I'm very disappointed in this. I thought about even writing my own version of this movie, so I could have thought about making it a lot better. But then I thought about copyrights and like I don't know how this stuff works. But then I was like, they just legit stole a lot from Guess Who.
And you know, George Lopez did another movie. I don't remember the name, but very similar to that with America Ferrera. I don't remember the name of it. It was a while back, and it's pretty much the same concept. She brings home
Oh really?
a man of a different race. Yeah.
How wild was it that this is the first time Leaf meeting her family, and he fucking asked her dad, like, "Can I have your daughter's hand in marriage?" It was like, guy, like that's not looking good for you.
Right.
My friend Liz, who's been on the podcast a couple episodes ago, she brought up the good fact. This movie would be so much more problematic if it was reversed. If it was a white guy bringing home a Mexican and they were acting like this, you know, like this, that would not fly for some reason. Not for some reason, but like, so I don't know. They just couldn't do that right. They also whiteface in this movie too. There is a sequence where George Lopez like gets hit in the head with a soccer ball and he gets knocked out. No one seems to be worried about it. They just drag him home and put him in bed. And he has like this whole vision of like the white boy taking over his family and the white, like he sees them at dinner and they're all white faced, acting white.
And blonde.
And blonde, yeah. I was like, if it was the other way around, if they were brown faced, like a white family, like that would be so problematic.
It would be.
That was so stupid. There was a funny soccer scene. I mean, it could have been a ton funnier. And that's when he can have his family come play soccer against the Mexicans. But instead, you have the cholos that were just playing them for no reason, not acting. And Grandma was out there with an umbrella and the goalie. Was like, what the fuck? And then the cholos, like, I really don't know what their role was. Like, they're just chilling in front of
They're
the house.
just there.
And then at the end of the house party, like at the end, I'm sure it's all family, but you don't really fucking find out who that is. It's like, oh, the cholos weren't invited. It's like, but how are you invited to the soccer game? You know? I don't know. There's just so many flaws and holes in this movie. It did not make it enjoyable. It was more. It wasn't even that bad where it was funny. It was bad that you were offended, like you said.
Yeah.
The music in this movie did not help it at all. It was just like that awkward music, like to make a scene more awkward than what it is. But like you overplay that in the wrong scenes, and it was just bad editing. He could have like there's played more white songs in this movie than anything. He could have like some Mexican songs in there.
I feel like he could. Yeah, the soundtrack wasn't the greatest, or even some like oldies. You're in East LA. Come on.
Exactly.
Some
like,
Chicano oldies or something.
or even like Tupac or something like that. You know, you could have something in there. I was so disappointed in this movie. Like I said, this is gonna be the lowest rated movie ever, and I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 10.
I give it 3 because I like the cholos. That's it.
If they were to showcase them a little bit more, and a little bit just like outside of fucking hanging out the residential neighborhood, like, give me a reason why they're just hanging out there, you know? Like, there was a scene, like, where the Gringo leaf, like, was trimming bushes. Yeah. And, like, he's good. Like, they're playing artistic music behind him and everything. Like, you could totally tell with his clip he's not doing nothing. But then he steps away, and it's, like, a little design. And the Cholo's like, oh, my God, this guy's Picasso and stuff, you know? Like, come on, dude. Is that my friend, Glenn, who watched this with me, like, oh, man, I like that style a lot. The high socks and the low pants.
Bring that style back out here.
I never been in West LA like that. Like, I wonder if it's like that. I'm assuming that's how it is.
A lot of people do dress like that still.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's a very cool look. I remember dressing West Cholos a couple times, like Halloween, and I really like that look. George Lopez is so disappointed in this movie. Would you watch this movie again?
I wouldn't watch it again.
Would you refer it to anybody?
If they want to see how bad a movie is.
Yeah. It's probably the worst movie of the year so far. Definitely, by hands down. I'm glad you I'm glad you picked this movie because of the experience a little bit different. But now I want to transition to a way better movie, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I was kind of bummed that they stole the name like that. It was a very clever name, don't get me wrong, but you wasted a good title on a shitty movie.
Yeah.
Let's get into how Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It came out in the year 2000. Let me pull up the director real quick.
I was 6 when it came out.
I think it was 4. This movie was directed by Ron Howard, based off the book by Dr. Seuss, written by Jeffrey Price and Peter Seaman. On the outskirts of Whoville lives a green, revenge-seeking Grinch who plans to ruin the Christmas for all the citizens of the town. Why is this movie such a classic? Why do you think people like it so much? They look weird. The story's kind of lame. It's cheesy writing. It shouldn't work, but somehow it works.
I think Jim Carrey just played the role of the Grinch so well. I was a big fan of Jim Carrey as the Grinch. I also just think it was very Christmassy. Like, I feel like with Whoville being so decorated with, Christmas lights, everyone was just so devoted to Christmas. I think that just made people feel more in the spirit of Christmas.
I agree. Did you know this movie took place, like, on a snowflake?
On a snowflake?
No. Whoville, like, it opens up saying, on a snowflake far, far away.
I never caught that.
Yeah, and in the very last second, like, it zooms out on the snowflake. Kind of like the other Dr. Seuss movie, the Horn Hears a Who. It's like on a flower or something like that. It's a live-action Whoville. Jim Carrey plays a phenomenal role. Spent hours under makeup. He, like, legit wore, like, silicone all over his face in that suit. And it was so uncomfortable for him that to the point he had to get special training from, like, a special ops military guy who endures torture. He had to teach him how to endure torture while putting on his costume. Wow. And what he did, like, he told him, like, you got to eat like crazy. Like, eat snacks, eat, like, Twinkies, something like that to keep going. And smoke like fucking crazy. Like, he had smoked a shit ton of cigarettes during this.
Oh, wow.
But he had to get one of those long cigarettes because it would have caught his hair on fire. And then this movie opens up with, like, Cindy Who, who's the main character besides the Grinch in this movie, who is just an innocent little girl who made the movie look a lot better. She's the one who moved the story along, who really had the open heart to invite the Grinch over. And the whole lesson is, like, all it takes is, like, a simple act of kindness to, like, to make somebody else kind to, it goes a long way. The Grinch, no one really seems to be scared that he's, like, just a fully, like, Bigfoot kind of guy. Like, he's covered in green, he's covered in hair. I'm surprised that he was still living, honestly. He's outcasted to the mountains of Whoville, which he, like, chose to live in the dump. And in this world, like, babies that come from the orphan, I guess you would call it. Not the orphan. Stork?
Storks, I think.
Storks?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they come in like on a basket blown from the wind. I'm assuming delivered by storks. But the Grinch, you never find out his origins. He just came on a windy day, got delivered to the wrong house. It's a house full of swingers. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't notice they were swingers.
Yeah, because he gets, and his basket falls into a tree, and he's looking into his house, but the house party full of people, but they're all putting their keys inside of a bowl and everything. Yeah, a lot of people miss that little detail. So then, and it was obviously he was raised by 2 lesbians. So, like, they're which makes sense that the people who are accepting are people who feel like outcasts themselves.
Of course. Yep.
And then he goes to school like a normal person. The sad fact about this movie, like the actor who played him, the young Grinch, was a real little person in real life, and he sadly passed away. I think like 2 years after this movie was made.
Mm.
So and then he goes. What's his girlfriend's name? Mary? Not Mary.
Martha May.
Martha May. He has a crush on Martha May, and he was like, "I want to make her the best Christmas gift ever." And he makes her like a tree topper, made of like silverware, like all. This guy is like a freaking engineer. He can make anything.
Yeah.
And he goes like and makes it for her, and did you have to do that in high school? Like not high school, like middle school or elementary, like make Christmas gifts for another gift person.
Like projects, little crafts, like yeah.
What was the coolest thing he made? I remember in high school, not high school, elementary school, in an art class, we picked names, Secret Santa style.
Okay.
I got this girl, and from art class, I ended up knitting her a scarf or something like that.
That's sweet. No, I've never done anything like that in school, but we've made like, projects, crafts. I remember elementary school, we had a hanger. We had to get a wire hanger, like bend it into like a wreath, and we had colored sandwich bag. Yeah, we had colored sandwich baggies, and we would tie it around the like rip it apart and tie it around the wire hanger.
Mm-hmm. Man, I was thinking about like how Christmas was when we were little, and like this movie was a big part of it. And then I remember in elementary school too. Like you remember book fairs?
Yeah,
and then like in the wintertime, there was like a version of book fair. It was like all Christmas stuff you could buy your parents and stuff like that, like little
gifts and stuff like that. Yeah,
I was like, man, I missed that feeling. And then going to school watching like the Grinch on the school TV and stuff like that. It sucks like how innocent we were. Now we're the adults now.
Right? We're the Santa Claus now.
Yeah. How old were you when you like discovered Santa wasn't real?
I honestly don't remember. I want to say maybe like, oh geez, I want to say like maybe 7, 8.
What grade would you say that is? I don't know.
What is that like? Is that second grade?
Oh man, I'm way behind you then. I think I've pinpointed mine like to 4th grade. That's because like I ever heard some other kids talking about it, like Santa's not fake, like he's real, and then I started connecting the dots a little bit. It's like fuck,
It's funny. I watched this TikTok the other day of, do you know who Woo Wop is?
Maybe if I seen him.
Yeah, that little kid. He was asking other guys, is Santa real or fake? And they were telling the poor kid, no, he's fake. Did you ask your dad?
Does your son still believe in Santa?
My son?
Yeah.
My son's nonverbal, so he doesn't tell me if he does or not, but I don't talk about,
do you hide his presents at least from him?
Yes. I still, yeah, honey, ask Santa. We're going to ask Santa for this and that. So I still talk about Santa in the house.
Does he like go take pictures with him too and all that?
Yes, he does like taking pictures with Santa. He likes grabbing his beard.
That's sweet. That's
yes.
Sweet. My niece just didn't do that for the first. I just saw pictures for the first time the other day, and she's very good with it.
Nice.
So going back to the Grinch. Well, you know what a big tradition now for a lot of people is going to Universal and taking pictures with the Grinch instead of Santa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Would you do that?
I would do that.
And like how the Grinch is like very into character and just gets into the business all the fucking time.
I've seen videos of that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I don't know if I would do that. I mean, it's a cool idea, but my sister would love it, I think. Going back to the Grinch. Now the Grinch is an adult now. He's just full of hatred from like fucking age of 10. Full of hatred, like sulking on the top of it. It's a very heartbreaking scene, that one. Like you just see him like built up with anger, just sulking at the sight of the Whoville. And Who's are like the happiest people in life. These people sing out loud. That's how happy they are all the time.
They are.
The Sandy, the little girl.
Cindy Lou Who.
Cindy Lou. Her dad plays a postal worker, and
that's Lou.
Lou, yeah, Lou plays like I said, a postal worker, and the mayor is played by kind of an asshole a little bit.
He's a bully.
And so the big Whoville Christmas event, I forget what it's called, but like Christmas parade is coming up, and they're gonna elect somebody who had the best year as a Whoville, who's the best Whoville person.
I believe it's like the Chairmeister or something like that.
Something like that. It's a big honor for everybody. But Cindy Lou nominates the Grinch. And like the Grinch is like a forbidden word. Like you thought she would scream the N-word in the city. That's how like everyone stopped and stared at her.
Yeah,
so then this movie had a record for the longest time. It was only broken this year for the most extras in costume and makeup like that. So for 23 years, they had that record. And it was only recently broken by the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 with all the extras with the prosthetics on.
Yeah.
It's freaking wild, dude. Can you imagine like a whole like a whole neighborhood looking like a Whoville?
Right.
That was pretty dope. This movie has just so many gags, improvisation from like like Jim Carrey himself. Like that scene where he rips the cloth off from the table and he goes back and knocks everything over. That was improv. When he pulled the sheet, it was supposed to fall over, but it didn't. So he went to go improv to knock it over. Just some other random dialogue with the Whovilles and stuff like that. He gets nominated by Cindy Lou. He goes down and accepts his award. I'm skipping over a lot of places because everyone's seen this movie. Everyone loves this movie. I'm just trying to give you run-on facts about this movie. Jim Carrey is phenomenal in it. Cindy, like that scene where Cindy Lou's mother and her neighbor, I can't remember their name, Martha, in that competition about the best lights, and Martha shoots like Christmas tree gun machine gun basically. That scene wasn't CGI. Like how they tricked it, they shot it and reversed it. So instead of putting lights on there, she was sucking them off of there, and they just reversed it. Because you got to think, how else would they do that? You know?
Yeah.
I really enjoy this movie. I don't think I have anything bad to say about this movie. It's on everyone's rotation. Like I just told you, it's like number 4 or 5 on the highest grossing list.
That's definitely one I would say I'd watch every year.
Do you remember the first time you watched this?
I want to say I did go to theaters to watch it. I just don't remember if it was that or if it was another movie, another Dr. Seuss movie. I have a horrible memory. I really
You're like
do.
5, you said, when you seen it.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I'm sure I doubt I've seen it in theaters because like I said, I was probably like 4. And my siblings were born, so they're younger than me, so I know my mom didn't take us to the theater. What is your favorite Christmas movie?
Like, out of all Christmas movies.
Mm-hmm. If you had to pick one to watch only this year.
I would say one of my favorites is, I would say it's up there, is For Christmas with Vince Vaughn and
I
Reese
just watched that for the
Witherspoon.
first time like last year, and it's pretty fucking hilarious.
It's funny. It's really funny.
But that's your adult answer. What was your kid answer? Like,
Okay.
What was your Christmas movie growing up that you loved?
Growing up, I would say The Grinch.
This Rich?
Yeah.
That's up there.
Yeah.
It's hard between the Elf, but I think my answer would be like Polar Express.
Yeah. I watched that one for the first time a few years back.
Really?
I was kind of creeped out by it.
I could see that, especially like the puppet scene and like creepy old man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that scene, if you watch behind the scenes stuff on that, that's pretty amazing because Tom Hanks plays like 18 characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. But going back to the Grinch, like, there's nothing bad I can say about this. There's just funny. What are some of your funny jokes in this movie? Funniest that you thought was hilarious.
What I thought was funny.
I think it was hilarious when Jim Carrey like hijacks that mini car and he just crashes it, and it's like the biggest explosion you've ever seen.
I want to say I like when he grabbed the razor and shaved the mayor's head with it.
And
I thought that was pretty
funny. The neighbor's
funny.
like, not the neighbor, the mayor's assistant or whatever, like, fix this. And he's like, okay. And he just shaves his own head.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yes, very funny. A scene at the end where he's riding in from the sleigh. And the part that pissed me off, like, Lou, the dad, like, puts his hand out like he's going to stop this runaway sleigh.
Right.
And then the Grinch goes like, thanks for the help, Lou. Just small jokes like this. And, you know, his creativity, like in his cave that he lived in, was pretty dope to see. I can only imagine how it was on set. It looked very cool and creative.
Yep.
There is a cool behind the scene photo with Jim Carrey in full Grinch outfit and Eddie Murphy in the Dr. Dolittle, which is the one where he like gets skinny after drinking potions. Not Dr. Dolittle, is that?
You said Eddie Murphy?
Yeah. Where he drinks the potion and becomes super skinny and thin and handsome.
I don't know. It's not Nutty Professor, is it?
Maybe it is. But anyways, I guess they were filming that movie in the same lot at the same time, and there's they took a picture with Jim Carrey and Eddie Murphy in the fat suit. Like, it was a very cool and iconic picture to take. It was pretty.
That sounds iconic.
Yeah. What would you get the Grinch 1 out of 10?
Oh, I want to say a good 9.
9.
Yeah, 8.5, 9.
The music was original and it was very fitting for Whoville. I'm not gonna say it was great, but it was good. I enjoy this movie all the time. I just watch it. My niece is like less than a year old. I'm trying to watching it to get her attention. I think she might enjoy the animated Grinch a little bit better.
Okay.
I haven't seen that one. Have you seen that one?
The one that came out like
A couple years
2018,
ago.
19
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that. I think I watched it once. I did.
I heard it's like a different origin story from the Grinch, a little bit different. That you don't remember.
Remember? I'm so sorry. I have a horrible memory.
It's okay.
But I did watch it once. I have to watch movies like multiple times for me to remember what really happened. But I want to say I watched it when it first came out, and I did. I remember thinking it was a little different. I do remember that Grinch was a little different than Jim Carrey's Grinch for sure.
I mean, I'm surprised I haven't watched it with it being the highest grossing movie. I want to go watch it probably tonight. All right, come Christmas Day, what movie are you watching?
Christmas Day. Well, I already watched Grinch. I watched already Christmas with the Cranks. That's a funny one.
Never seen that. That's the caveman in it.
No, that's the one with
Oh, okay. With Tim Allen in it? Not Tim Allen. Yeah, is it Tim Allen?
I believe, yes.
Yeah.
And Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
So I want to say probably Elf. I haven't watched Elf in a couple years.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Are you watching like TBS where it shows like A Christmas Story 24/7?
I am not.
I think the day before that they announced they're doing Elf. I think 24/7. I could be wrong about that.
Okay.
How early do you like to start watching Christmas movies?
I want to say right after Thanksgiving. If I can, I'd watch it right after Thanksgiving.
I fucks with it. What other, do you like going to the city, watching lights? What do you like to do? Are you a big decorator in your house?
This year I didn't decorate much, but usually I am. I have a bunch of cats right now, so I'm not trying to do too much. I'm trying to find these cats some homes, but yeah, because they love my other cats that I have every year. They love the Christmas tree. They love my lights. They love my decorations. So this year I didn't do too much. So I don't want it to get ruined or anything like that. So didn't decorate as much. Yeah.
I like cats too, but don't get me wrong. But dealing with that stuff could be annoying. Everyone listening, go check out Yesenia's page and take one of her cats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all I have for this episode. We had a cool ass game that you guessed half of them right. We dug deep into George Lopez and kind of shit on his movie. And then we talked about the Grinch. Grinch Stole Christmas. Easy classic movie. Yesenia, Yessie, thank you so much for coming on. It was a blast. I plan to have you on more next year too. This year, I don't think you were on. I think you were on last year for the Harry Potter movie.
Yep.
Are you excited for the new Harry Potter series?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The new Harry Potter series, the show?
Yeah. My cousin sent me a link to that, and I was like, is this real? I was like, is this real? So yeah, I really am. I'm a sucker for anything Harry Potter, so I'm pretty excited.
I asked my friend Glenn about it on the podcast. He's like, yeah, even though J.K. Rowling's a piece of shit, I'm still looking forward to that movie. So, yeah, it's interesting. I'm excited. I seen, in preparation for your episode last year, I watched all the Harry Potter movies. So I am kind of excited to watch it because I heard, have you read the books?
I haven't. I think when I was younger, I only read the first one. I never read the rest of the series, but I hear good things. And
I heard the series is going to be a lot more closer to the books too. So I'm excited for that.
That's pretty nice. Yeah, most definitely. Have you played the game?
I haven't. My brother has played it, and he seems like a lot of fun. It was a big hit this year. You know what? A big game I've been playing nonstop is a new Spider-Man game.
I hear good things about that one.
Are you a big gamer yourself?
I'm not a big gamer, but as much as I used to. But when I can play, I'll play.
Is your son into that stuff?
No.
Gaming at all?
No, not at all.
I think you got pretty lucky with that.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. He likes being more handsy with other toys, likes being outdoors and stuff like that. Not really big on the phone, so I did get lucky.
You did get very lucky. My sister's kid, she's 10, not 10 months, maybe 9 months at this point, and she fucking loves the screen. She loves watching Moana 24/7.
That's cute. My nephews, my nieces, they're all like that. My nephew's a big Fortnite guy.
Yeah.
He's only 4. He loves Fortnite.
I couldn't get him the hype, but I can understand the love for the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much, Yessie, for coming on the podcast. It's a great Halloween, Christmas episode. I'm so glad you came. So glad you came in your pajamas. Thank you for bringing this cool ass Santa hat, even though it's squeezing my head as tight as possible. I feel I can relate to George Lopez in that way. But thank you for everyone listening. Next episode is going to be the year-end review, where it's going to be talking about all the great movies that I liked last year, and then all the movies that I hated last year. I wish I recorded that before this episode because George Lopez would have been for sure #1 on there. Thank you for everyone listening. I'm going to be announcing, well, by this time I already announced a giveaway for a $100 AMC gift card. So look at my Instagram page, check out how to enter it in that, and check out Yesenia's, Miss Yesie's Instagram or Facebook so she can get rid of some of these cats. Thank you for everyone listening. Stay tuned next week where I will be saving you a seat.